The glass walls of Castellano Ventures reflected the Manhattan night sky like a mirror made of light, ambition, and pride. At the center of it all was Diana Castellano, the woman who had built an empire out of sleepless nights, cold numbers, and an unshakable belief that she could not lose. But tonight, everything she believed in was falling apart. It all began with a small red warning flashing on the screen. Then another, and another. Within seconds, every monitor in the office was flooded with error messages. Data breached, accounts erased, financial losses climbing with every heartbeat. The system was collapsing from the inside, right before her eyes. The empire she had spent 15 years building was burning silently. Diana slammed her fist on the mahogany desk. No, impossible. Her breathing came fast, tangled between fear and fury. The merger deal worth $12 billion, set to be signed at dawn, was now nothing but a shattered dream. Each passing minute drained millions of dollars from the system, along with her pride. Outside, the city still glowed. Skyscrapers soared. Streets sparkled. Life went on, indifferent to one woman's despair. Manhattan never stopped. It simply watched, quietly, as those who once thought themselves invincible began to fall. Diana had sent the tech team home hours ago. She couldn't bear another terrified look. She just wanted silence, to be alone with the ashes of the empire she'd built. But then, a small sound broke the stillness. Footsteps, slow, steady. Then the soft squeak of a wheel rolling across the floor. She looked up. A man in a blue janitor uniform was pushing a cleaning cart down the hallway. He stopped at the glass door of her office, startled to find her still there. His light brown hair was slightly tousled. His dark eyes met hers, calm, steady, neither curious nor afraid. Only a strange kind of quiet. Diana forced a bitter smile. Don't worry, you didn't break anything. I'm just sitting here, watching 15 years of my life turn to ashes. He hesitated, then tapped lightly on the glass door. Are you okay? His voice was low and warm, carrying a hint of Brooklyn in its tone that made the question sound genuinely kind. Okay? Diana let out a dry laugh. You tell me. My company just died right in front of me. His eyes flicked over the screens, still flashing red. That's a cyber attack, he said calmly. Diana froze. What did you say? He nodded slightly. I used to work in cybersecurity. Before, life sent me elsewhere. He paused for a second, then added, May I take a look? Diana blinked. The man pushing her cleaning cart had just offered to handle a crisis that her senior engineering team had failed to solve. She almost laughed. But there was no arrogance in his eyes, only the quiet certainty of someone who had fought chaos before. She silently stepped aside. Go ahead. He sat down. His fingers began flying over the keyboard, fast, precise, practiced, as if he had never left that world. The light caught the name tag on his chest. Jamie Sullivan. Diana asked softly, almost in a whisper. Who are you? Jamie didn't look up. His voice stayed calm, steady. Just someone who refuses to let things die before trying to save them. 6 hours earlier. Diana Castellano stood before the board of directors, her gaze sharp as a razor. Ladies and gentlemen, she said, her voice calm but heavy with authority, the merger with Quantum Industries isn't just a strategic move. It's the leap that will put us at the top of the global tech world. Approving nods rippled around the table. Castellano Ventures, her brainchild, had once started in a cramped apartment, and now it had become a global conglomerate with more than 50,000 employees worldwide. But no one in that room knew that the powerful woman standing before them carried inside her a hollowness that words could barely describe. Diana hadn't built this company on intellect and ambition alone. She had built it out of everything she'd lost. 15 years ago, when Castellano Ventures was still just an idea, she missed her mother's birthday because of a meeting. When her mother fell ill, she didn't go home because she was negotiating with investors. And when her mother passed away, she didn't get to say goodbye, because at that moment she was in Singapore, signing a contract she thought would secure her future for life. Success always has its price, she often told herself. But tonight, she would begin to wonder whether that price had been too high. After the meeting, Diana returned to her office. The golden lights reflected on the marble floor, her shadow stretching long and silent. Stephanie Kim, the young chief technology officer, was waiting with an iPad in hand, her expression tense. "Diana, I need you to see this," she said, fingers swiping quickly across the screen. "What is it?" Diana frowned. "Some unusual activity in the system." "I'm not sure, but it seems like someone might be probing our internal network." Diana closed her eyes for a moment, inhaled deeply, then spoke in a cool, detached tone. "Strengthen the firewalls. We're about to close the biggest deal in the company's history. I don't want a single mistake, not even a small one." "Yes, ma'am," Stephanie nodded, though unease still lingered in her eyes. Diana didn't know. That was the very last moment she could have stopped the nightmare that was coming. At the same time, in another corner of the building, Jamie Sullivan was pushing his cleaning cart down the 12th floor hallway. The earphones in his ears were playing a podcast about Python programming. His blue uniform had faded after hundreds of washes. The same hands that had once written lines of code worth millions of dollars now held only a mop and a rag. But Jamie had no regrets. He glanced at the old watch on his wrist. 8 p.m., only one more hour left in his shift. Then he'd go home to Ruby. Ruby, the 7-year-old girl with big, bright eyes just like her mother's. The mother who had passed away when Ruby was only 6 months old, leaving Jamie with a tiny baby and a mountain of medical debt. He had once been a brilliant software engineer at a leading cybersecurity firm. He'd had everything: a high salary, reputation, and a promising future. But when his wife was diagnosed with cancer, everything collapsed. He quit his job to care for her. The savings ran dry, the insurance wasn't enough, and after 3 years of hopeless battle, she died. Jamie was left alone, with a daughter and a foggy future. No company wanted to hire a rusted engineer who had been out of the field for 3 years. In the tech world, 3 years away might as well be 30. So Jamie did the only thing he could. He became a janitor. By day, he mopped floors, emptied trash bins, scrubbed restrooms. By night, when Ruby was asleep, he opened his old laptop, reading documentation and learning new programming languages just to keep his mind from rusting. He still dreamed of returning to his old profession someday. But for now, the most important thing to him wasn't glory. It was being there for Ruby, the only person he had left. He remembered his daughter's question from the week before. "Daddy, why don't you work with computers like the other people?" He bent down, pulling her into his arms. "Because I want to spend more time with you, Ruby." Working with computers sometimes takes away the most precious time we have. Ruby looked up, eyes wide. "But you're really good, Daddy. I saw you fix my laptop in just 5 minutes. Jamie laughed softly, brushing her hair. "I'll always be here with you, no matter what I do. That's what really matters." But tonight, as he stepped into Diana Castellano's office and saw the screens in chaos, the data flashing wildly like madness, something inside him stirred.